So I'm gonna start things off by saying that I am very sick right now, possibly COVID. So I'm not feeling too good. So my voice is gonna sound kind of weird if I just sound very effortless. That's why. I did get LEDs all around my room. I think they look very nice. I'm gonna try and kind of use a certain color though, depending on the video. The biggest reason why I've used blue is because I'm reviewing Baby Keem's the Melodic Blue today. But anyway, I decided I would do another one of these videos where I review a bunch of albums in one. Not that it's like all of these albums don't deserve their own review. It's just I don't have enough opinions on each individual record for its own review. So I've done 4 albums here. I'll probably be brief on a couple of them. The main one I want to review is the Melodic Blue, which I didn't feel like I had enough to give its own review. But I felt like I still want to discuss it. So here we go. We'll start. I think I'm going to go Melodic Blue, Trust the Sopranos, sometimes it might be Introvert, and then end with Mercury Act 1. So let's start with the Melodic Blue, new Baby Keem record. So the Melodic Blue is the second full-length album by Baby Keem, a rapper who is Kendrick Lamar's brother, but didn't announce it until I think only a year ago or so. I haven't been aware of Baby Keem for all that long. But I mean, I knew about that album, Die For My Bitch, and I finally listened to it before Family Ties came out, just to kind of get an idea of what his music was about. Then last Friday, he finally dropped his full-length album, entitled The Melodic Blue. He has 2 more appearances from Kendrick on this record, being Range Brothers and Vent, where he has an uncredited little ad-lib. In general, I was pretty excited for this record. The other tracks I'd heard from it, like Do Rag Activity, I wasn't much of a fan of. I didn't hate it like some people did, but I thought it was just kind of eh. But Family Business is such a good track to me. He had, Baby Keem had such a great flow that I was just pretty excited to hear to be offering on another full-length record, 53 minutes, 16 tracks. I was pretty excited to hear it. Kind of going through some other things in this, I think Trademark USA is a very impressive opening. Great energy, great beat switch. It's very enjoyable, very fun. Baby Keem kind of inhabits this more like lyrically based trap sound, where his flow and vocals aren't too far off of your average trap artist, but his production isn't either. But it's much more. It doesn't take itself overly seriously. It's much more lyrically focused and flow focused, though. Trademark USA is a great intro. I do want to mention the Range Brothers track, which I think is really fun. I don't like as much as Family Ties, but I think Kendrick has a very fun verse on it. We've all heard the Top of the Morning bit. I think it's quite the funny segment to his verse. It's not amazing. It is like kind of stupid, but it's fun to me and I like it. For those of you who are saying Use of Flutes by Playboy Cardi is total bullshit. But I think it's a pretty fun track. Baby Keem has some funny lines in there too. Overall, it's a track that I don't think is as amazing as Family Ties, but it's really fun for me and I really like it. We have another track I really like is Issues. It has very great vocals on it, very great sound to it. It's probably one of my favorite tracks on the album that feels like it's fully Baby Keem's song. I really love it. South Africa is one I really enjoy too. Cocoa with Don Toliver is a track I was very excited to hear, which I've become a lot more of a Don Toliver fan lately, mainly because of Moon, but he's just been on my replay a lot more. I just enjoy his music more now. And I'm very excited to hear Load or Life of a Dawn when that comes out. Cocoa is definitely a banger though. I really enjoy that track. Next track I think is real. I think Scars is also another great track. Vent is an amazing song in my opinion. The beat is great. The only thing I'm a little weird about this song is I just wish Kendrick's verse was still on it, because Kendrick's ad-lib, "Have you ever been punched in your motherfucking face," is great. Overall, it's a very fun track, and 16 is a great outro. So as I was very excited to hear Baby Keem come with a second record, I enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. The beats were very good. His flow was always on point. It felt very well put together. It's not a masterpiece. I don't think it's Baby Keem's. I don't think it's his best possible album. I think he could put out something way better in the future. But I think I do like this a little bit more than Die For My Bitch. And overall, I really enjoy it. Overall, fantastically enjoyable record. Definitely up there as one of my favorite records of the year. Maybe not top 10, but definitely up there. I'm feeling, you could probably guess I'm probably going to run an A- here. I think that's about fair. I quite enjoyed this one. I think it's quite the enjoyable release from Baby Keem. Definitely impressed on this one. Definitely didn't disappoint, Sean C. So Benny the Butcher has had a very active year. So far now, if we're including this remix project, He has released he brought Plugs I Met 2, the original Trust the Sopranos, Pyrex Picasso, now 4 projects this whole year. Now I will say that the original Trust the Sopranos is one of my least favorite Benny the Butcher projects. I felt like his lyricism and flows were not on point, and 38 Splesh didn't really deliver much on the verses or on the production, in my opinion. You can go watch my review of it. I reviewed it alongside Sour by Olivia Rodrigo, Scaled and Icy by Tonal Pilots, and Pray for Haiti by Mac Homie. You can go check out that video. Once I found out that Benny the Butcher had done a remix album with Big Ghost Limited, I got very excited because Big Ghost Limited is one of my favorite Griselda producers ever. I think he's put out some fantastic production for the label, especially with the main person I think he's really done great with the production with is Conway the Machine with his what is the one called? No One Mourns the Wicked and If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed. Both fantastically enjoyable projects. And I think Big Ghost Limited's a great producer. Also Griselda Ghost is an amazing project by Westside Gun and Conway. So now he's come to help Benny out here. And he's just redone a lot of the production on this project. To be honest, I don't think Benny does this often, but I'm happy he did it here because it improved the project quite a lot for me. It felt like it kind of enhanced Benny's rapping and writing as a whole. And on top of that, a lot of the beats on here, like the new beat for Love Left, the new beat for Load Up, Spineless's new beat, and Price of Fame's new beat, all just sound great. And I don't even know really what 38 Splesh contributes on this version, but it's very enjoyable. I really liked this. It's not incredible. It still has the issue of being not that strong of a project beyond any kind of flows and lyricism, and I still think Plugs I Met 2 and Pyrex Picasso are much superior Benny projects, but I really enjoy this. I'm very hopeful he's dropping something in the next couple weeks. I've been wanting some new Benny the Butcher for a long time now, and overall, I really enjoyed this project. I felt like it was very much an improvement on the original. I like the original still fine, but I definitely will play this one more. Also, the cover is much better in my opinion. I did not understand why he put the fucking Earth in a cup. It was kind of lame. I'm probably gonna go around to B+ here. I really enjoyed this one. Little Simz is a UK female rapper whom I have somewhat known about for a couple years. I've never really cared much for her. I haven't listened to enough of her to really get what she's about. So I didn't have any inherent care about this album when I heard it came out. But then, when I heard some people talking about this being album of the year, an amazing record, I thought to myself, I have to check this out. I have to see what Little Simz is cooking up here on this album titled Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. And I was very hopeful for this project. And basically from the intro track, you can kind of tell that this is an album that is inhabiting very much this kind of grand, I would call it almost like a more kind of modest sound than most hip-hop. It's not very much a grimy record at all. The beats are sometimes very orchestral, larger kind of instrumentals. And to be honest, when you listen to all 19 songs here, you can very much tell that Little Simz is very much focusing on making like great music. Like she's definitely trying to make an album where the kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like the like she's just put her heart out and thought into it. It's one of these albums where I feel like every moment she thought through and she wanted to make sure was perfect. There's also definitely a lot more of this kind of being a concept record. I can kind of tell. I need to definitely analyze it more and get more involved with what this album is going with. But at the end of the day, despite the fact that I've never been a Little Simz fan, I think I'm definitely going to check out more of her stuff. I really enjoyed this project. I felt like it had a very much a orchestral, large, enjoyable sound. A lot of the time UK rap vocals, I am someone who sometimes can get annoyed by them, but this album, I feel like those UK vocals were just used to their best. Fantastically enjoyable project. It's not going to be recognized all that much, but I'd highly suggest you check it out. This was incredibly enjoyable, incredibly well put together, and honestly one of my top 10, possibly even like top 6 favorite albums of the year. I'm definitely feeling an A here. I definitely don't have many issues with this. I feel like she did her best on this. Seriously enjoyable project. Please don't skip over it just because a UK rapper, woman you've never heard of, just because they're a UK rapper and they're a woman, which are often kind of shunned out of the discussion of great hip-hop, does not mean this record is worth skipping. Fantastically enjoyable shit. One of the best records to come out all year. Nice work, Little Simz. I am very much looking forward to what she's coming with next. Amazing album. So I would say maybe 6th, 5th grade, I was a pretty big Imagine Dragons fan, which is why I've always kind of had my eye on their music. Not that I've ever really enjoyed it since 7th grade. Actually, it's even 7th grade, I didn't like their music. But I've always just had an eye on it. I've always kept up to date with what's the newest thing from them. And to be honest, even though there are old songs by them like Radioactive, On Top of the World, Demons, that I have quite the nostalgia for, they don't make good music. Like they never really have. I used to have this feeling that they were good and then they got bad, but they've kind of never been good. The closest they got was Smoke and Mirrors, which is an alright album. It's okay, I guess. Night Visions is pretty bad in my opinion. And then Evolve from 2017. Basically, since that record, they've just proven to have no material left for a new album. That album was just 11 straight tracks of nothing. Thunder was okay, but overplayed as fuck. Origins, if you watch my music channel, you would know is one of my least favorite albums ever. I think that album is truly awful. I think there's very little things to like about it. Some of the worst hooks, instrumentals I've ever heard. Literally not a single bit of original ideas or content. Nothing interesting. Seriously, one of the most boring albums I've ever sat through. Oh my god, what a piece of trash. So I heard Mercury Act 1, which is the most pretentious title I've ever heard, was coming out. And I was pretty low expectations. I'd heard a couple things. I'd heard Follow You, kind of. I had heard Cutthroat, and I thought it was terrible. So I went into this very much not expecting something great. And what I can say is this is not good at all. There are a couple of moments that I feel like are worth mentioning. My Life is one of the most desperate intros I've ever heard. The song attempts to do the kind of intro sound where you have the first chorus and verse have just be very low key kind of singing, and like, the guitaring's very, how do I describe it? The guitaring's very like soft and nice, but then like by verse 3 it's just insane, it's loud. To be honest, it's a little desperate because they're not a good band, so they don't know how to make this grand sound really work. For very much a big portion of the album though, it just continues putting out boring. Lonely has no right instrumental though, I'll admit that. Then we get to Giants though, where I forget the name of the vocalist, the lead singer, but he chooses to do scream vocals, which this album does. He's borderline that on past records. Moments on tracks like Machine and Natural on Origins kind of did it, and some moments on Evolve did it. It always sucks. He does not have the vocal range for that. In the best way, Anthony Fantano describes it perfectly when he says making a molehill into a mountain on every single track they do. Giants does that in the worst way possible. His vocals are just obnoxious. And I'm not someone who inherently even likes scream vocals, but when they're done well, they're great. But they're not great here at all. Next we have Dull Knives is another track that I feel like mentioning. More scream vocals here. They're trash. No Time for Toxic People has its alright kind of catchiness to it, but I don't love it. And at the end of the day, One Day ends the album off on a pretty low note. And we're given this record that it's hard to hate as much as Origins because I expected it to be that bad. But the thing with Origins is you can't get much worse than that. So they end up making a pretty bad album here. But I guess it just didn't offend me as much as Origins did. And at least they tried some new things, like with Giants doing scream vocals. They sound awful, but because there's a side of me that's like, scream vocals don't sound good. They sound bad for them. But at the same, also I do want to mention Cutthroat. Horrible scream vocals. Horrible. I want to mention that like their scream vocals, the thing with it is it's like, they could work, but the band does not know how to execute them at all. And on top of that, it's like, I don't want them to do that. It's a bad direction for them. And at the same time, this band can't get any worse. So why not just do something awful? Because the boring instrumentals they were doing were already awful. At the end of the day, terrible song. Did not care for this whatsoever. To be honest, this was a terrible album. Not as bad as Origins, but definitely a top 3 worst album of 2021. I'd go like D minus here. It's pretty bad. You'll definitely see it in my top 10 worst albums 2021. Some dog shit, man. There's some bad albums that have come out this year, and Mercury Act 1 definitely finds its spot among those. Terrible album here. I've reviewed this one longer than the other 3, shockingly, actually. Alright, that was 4 more reviews for you guys. I got new shit coming. I think I'll review Montero. I might react to the new Juice song, too. I don't think there's anything else coming this Friday I care about, though, but I'll definitely review Montero. I'm very excited for Lil Nas X's new album. See you guys next time. Also, I might be working on that Drake raking. I don't know. Hopefully, but I don't know. See you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.